Hey guys, it's Holly with Wild Blessings, and it's another Teaching Tuesday live. I haven't done one of those in a while, but there was so much that I gathered, so much wild riches that I had to just kind of show my shopping spree results and tell you what I've been up to and kind of hopefully light a wildfire to get you out there doing the same. It is now October 31st. Tomorrow's November. There was still so much to gather yesterday that it was really rather astonishing. My kitchen was a disaster, but everything was free except for the time it takes to gather and then to process and put it up. So my husband's a patient man. I wanted to share with you about nature's wave. I talk about it all the time. And right now it has to do with where the energy is going because it's getting cold. So I think tonight it's supposed to actually freeze, and it's already frozen a few times in October, but it's going to start getting colder and colder. So all of the energy is now going into the root. So I'll just briefly remind you what nature's wave is. Nature's wave is the art of harvesting God's incredible gifts of plants at the height of their energy. In the early spring, all of that energy is down deep into the roots during the winter, and then it comes up into the shoots and then the leaves and the stems get taller, and then the buds come out for the flowers, and then the flowers bloom, and then the seed pods just appear, and then inside of them are maturing seeds, and then there's the nuts and the fruits and the berries, and then the frost comes, and all of that energy goes boom right back down into the roots. So here we are in October, late October, and yet I was still able to find flowers, which there's always some late bloomers. So here's a Queen Anne's lace. And I mean, this one was just budding out, which is crazy. So these could definitely be chopped up and put into a salad or eaten like that. But what I wanted to do with them is to take this flower, which is a butterfly sweet pea. I've never seen these flowers, but they grow in Florida, and Michelle Ott gave me a whole pint of them, the dried ones. And so I just put them into some water and poured some hot water. I mean, put them in a jar and then poured some hot water on it, and they turned this cobalt blue. And they don't really have a taste, but it's beautiful. And you know how much I love blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these flowers. Well, actually, this is what I'm drinking. I'm just going to pour it into here so that I can watch the blue go up the stem and turn the flowers blue like a food coloring does. So that'll be kind of fun. I did find some goldenrod flowers, which was kind of like the last hurrah. Most of them have already turned into their kind of old lady look with their gray hair, and they're in the Asteraceae family, so they're going to puff away with the wind. But these are still beautiful, and so I just had to pick them. I found some yarrow, which was astounding. And so what did I do with that? Oh, here it is. I chopped it all up, and I put some witch hazel distillate in there as a menstruum. And every day I'm going to shake this thing because I'm out of my yarrow wound spray, which is precious to me. Here it's empty. So I use this all the time. Jason does too, whenever we get a scratch, or I actually use it for a toner for my face, and I've been out of it for a while. So anyway, this is powerful. And I was like, oh man, I wish I had some more fresh yarrow, and there it was. So that was exciting. So you never know when you're going shopping what you're going to find. So as you get familiar with the phenology, PHENOLOGY, of foraging, you realize when things are going to come up every year, pretty much around the same time. The life cycles of the plants just follow this same path from the roots to the shoots and so forth. And so I knew that I was going to be looking for beautiful fall leaves, and a lot of the red leaves have already fallen. Last week they were gorgeous, the red maples and so forth. But I've been collecting them, and I use these for packing material. So I'm putting together a care package for my granddaughters, and of course, I'll either use pine or fir or some of these leaves to decorate or to hold things together rather than plastic. Another thing you can do with leaves this time of year, so let's focus on leaves for a moment, is do you notice what plant this is? You want to get these fall leaves of the Sassafras albidum. Remember, they have the thumb and they have the mitten, which I don't have a mitten here. And then they have the three fingers, three lobes, which is so strange. I think mulberry does the same thing. So you want to gather those sassafras leaves before they all drop and dry them in your dehydrator or in a basket. And then you want to keep those in a jar. So these are all nice and dried out. And then you can put them in your Vitamixer or coffee grinder and turn them into filet, which is amazing. It's very mucilaginous, really slimy, and it's what they use to make gumbo, and it has a phenomenal taste. Sassafras is going to be a real major player in my class on November the 9th, where we're going to talk about wild root wisdom, because the roots of sassafras are powerful, delicious, and that's what root beer used to be made of. And we will be making our own root beer with not just sassafras root, but some other wild roots that were originally made for the original root beers. Sodas used to be elixirs that you would buy at the pharmacies at the soda fountain. And so it wasn't just sugar and flavoring, it was actually something that made you feel so alive and so vibrant. And so I think those of you who attend that class are going to see what a real root beer can taste like and what an amazing taste, what it does to your body. Some other things that you can do with leaves at this time of year is just take all of the ones that you have been drying. And I have, well, don't tell Jason, but I have bags and bags of dried leaves. I call it my knitting basket. And I just I take them, I dry them, and then I put them in bags labeled. So this would be pineapple sage. And when I have a chance and I'm sitting and doing nothing, which isn't very often, but in the wintertime when you've got time, you can have a friend over and just destem these things and put them in jars and make sure you label them. Pineapple sage is one of my new favorite teas. It is so delicious. What else can we do with leaves? I took my aloe. This is a leaf of an aloe plant, and I brought it out from the outside and I brought it in the house because with the cold weather coming, I just didn't want to destroy my aloe plant. Oh, this was crazy. So I went to an organic farm and I found a ton of dandelion leaves. Whoops. So this is heavy because I put the roots in here. So there's let me show you the leaves that are in my fridge. Hold on. So I found all of these leaves, and some of them were like 15 inches long, and it's because they never mow the grass. And so as long as tall as the grass goes, that's how tall you'll get your leaves. And so I put them in my sink with some Thieves cleaner, not cleaner, Thieves veggie soak. And then I just soaked it for a while to get it nice and clean. And then I put it into my salad spinner and dried out the leaves that way. And then I bagged them up. And I mean, that's like $10 worth of dandelion leaves. You can buy them at Earth Fair or you can pick them yourself. So I was thinking if we didn't have the ability to mow our yards, it might actually be a blessing because all of us would have dandelion and clover and all these amazing plants would grow really tall if we weren't able to mow our lawns. So you have what you need. You just keep it manicured right now, probably. So let things go wild, or at least find a place where they are. So dandelion leaves is going to be a major blessing, is a blessing. But let's see, I'm going to make sure I talked about all of my leaves that I found recently. Oh, this was crazy. So y'all know what ginkgo is. It's this amazing plant for brain health and for strengthening neural pathways. And it has the most beautiful leaves and they turn golden. And I've heard it said that the ginkgo leaves fall all at once, like they just, when one falls, they all fall. And so it's on my bucket list to watch that happen, but I missed it. But I was able to gather quite a few of them, and I don't have them right here at the moment, but they are so beautiful. And so I'll be using those for arts and crafts, but they can be amazing for making a tincture for brain health, which I've never done. So if you've done that, please let me know how that worked for you and how you did it. So that would be leaves. And then the energy goes into the flowers, and we've already talked about the Queen Anne's lace and then the butterfly pea flower. And then it goes into the seed pods. And so I don't think any seed pods right now are tasty to eat. They're not meristematic, but the seeds inside have matured quite a bit. So right here in front of me, I found a whole bunch of yellow dock seeds, and these are in the buckwheat family, in the Polygoniaceae family. And so I love stripping these off. They feel good. And this is one of those seeds that you don't have to actually take the chaff away when you use it to make flour, Flour. And they taste very much like a buckwheat. I had one of my friends, my students over, Hannah came over this week, and she told me that she's been making sourdough bread using yellow dock seeds as a flour and also some plantain seeds. So this is another one of those things you can do for herbing around when your hands are busy and you could spend time thinking about other things or listening to a podcast or just talking with a friend. But my goal is to have several gallons of these for the winter. They're really nutritious for you. The yellow dock leaf is another thing I forgot to tell you about. I have a whole bunch of the yellow dock leaf here, and these are really not tasty. You don't want to eat these leaves, but it was helpful to me to find the root because the roots are yellow, which is why they call it yellow dock. And I'm going to be making an iron tonic for our class on wild roots, which is amazing, out of this incredible plant. Another leaf that is out right now, which is pretty exciting, is comfrey. And so I gathered a ton of this. And if you ever have planted comfrey, you have it like perpetually forever. You can't really get rid of it. So make sure you plant the comfrey where you don't mind if it takes over. But this is an amazing plant. And so today I made, or a couple of weeks ago, I made a comfrey vinegar for Anne. She broke her femur. And so this vinegar is getting ready to be decanted and then turned into salad dressings for her to help to strengthen her bone healing. And then I made a tincture out of the comfrey, and I'm going to add some of its root as well. And you don't really want to take comfrey internally because it has a lot of PAs in them. I can't pronounce the word, pyrilazine alkaloids or something, which can be toxic if taken internally too much. So I would recommend what I'm going to do with this is make it into lotions and things for skin health and for healing and liniments. So probably made too much of that, but I'll probably share it in my class. So comfrey, you can also eat this leaf. Pamela Torres loves to make this into a quiche. She puts it into her quiches, and I've eaten a lot of comfrey as well. The other thing about leaves that was crazy is that this week I found wild mustard, chickweed, of course, because it comes back in the cold weather. I found marshmallow leaves. I found, let me see, I wrote them all down. Purple dead nettle, nasturtium, little tiny yellow docks, and all of that I put into, with some amaranth seed, into little amaranth cakes and made them into something for a wild food event I was doing. So they were delicious. And the only thing that was in the cakes that were not wild were carrots and eggs. So amazing, which you can find even in the cold weather. Then we're going to talk about the energy going into the seed itself. And so where do I have that? Oh, this is crazy. This is Datura or Jimson weed. And if you were to step on this, you would know it. This is kind of like even worse than a chestnut cambium. And I can't even imagine stepping on that. But these are toxic. And the reason why I wanted to bring this out is if you have these on your land, and I know that Karen Fulton, you do have some of this on your land, I would definitely cut these before they dry out and open up and spread their millions of seeds that are inside, because you want to get rid of these, and you don't want to put them in your compost bin, and you don't want to even throw them in a burn pile or anything. You want to bag them up and take them to the landfill because they're very invasive. And they do have some medicinal, but I'll tell you, I would never use something this dangerous. It's like a hallucinogenic. I would not use this unless you were a well-trained herbalist, and I'm not one of those. But I do think it's beautiful, and they're kind of fun to find. I just don't want them on my land. Okay, then let's talk about berries. So I found a whole bunch of poke berries today or yesterday, and they're just so beautiful. I love looking at them up close with a jeweler's loupe. And the seed that's inside of the berries are what's toxic. And so I love to make poke jelly, and I've made poke syrup out of it. You just process out the seed. And a lot of old timers would just eat these berries like this, and then they would spit out the seed. They don't, or they poop it out, because that's the part that's toxic. The way I'm going to process these, you can use these for dyes as well, is I'm going to put them flat on a cookie sheet and then freeze them like that. And then I'm going to take the frozen little, I can't remember what this is called, little bundle of berries, and then put those into a baggie until I have time later this winter to process them. Let's see, I made a hawthorn elixir, and this is made with brandy and with local honey. And so every day I've been shaking this, and you want to keep it in a place where you can have access to it, but you don't want it to be in the sunlight. And so as I shake it, I think about what an amazing plant this is for heart health, and for thinning your blood, and just for physical and emotional healing of the heart. So I made a lot of it because I tend to give this away more than any other tincture. And I love the taste of hawthorn. What other berries do I have? Oh, I found some goji berries yesterday, which was astonishing, and they were so delicious. I put them on my oatmeal. And I found pawpaws a couple of weeks ago, and I made those into fruit leather. So this whole thing is a bunch of wild fruit leathers. There's kiwi lamb's quarter, there's strawberry lamb's quarter, there's blackberry, there's peach autumn olive berry, there's autumn olive berry, and there's pawpaws. And so the pawpaw is the first time I've ever tried them, and they taste like kind of a blend between bananas and pineapple and mango, which is amazing. Okay, so let's talk about nuts. So these are chestnuts, and I felt really blessed to find a tree laden with these beautiful prickly porcupine balls. And as they would fall, and the kids were helping me hit them with sticks and stuff, they'd come flying down, and then we'd stomp on them and then get out their beautiful mahogany nuts. So then I've spent a lot of time processing them. Not only do I get them out and turn them into flour, like this beautiful flour here, but I also have a freezer full of them already ready to go, so I can make them into brittle or whatever. I've got lots of plans for chestnut. I hope that you got my chestnut blog, where I gave you 5 pages of my favorite chestnut recipes. This really, honestly, is the most delicious nut, and it makes the best chew factor of all of the wild nut breads, or crackers. Acorns, I've been processing tons of those, and this is the acorn meal, which is not a fine flour. Like, this is a flour, because I want to keep it like this. And then when I want to turn it into a flour, I can put it in the Vitamixer and turn it into a fine flour for right before I'm going to use it. Jerusalem artichokes are out and about, so make sure you, if you don't have one, you can get one from me if you'd like, and then just plant it, and next year you'll have plenty. I forgot to tell you about these crazy, beautiful, weird roots. This is Solomon's seal. And I didn't mean to dig him up, but what happened is I found a chicory plant at this farm I went to. I dug that up and I brought that home, and I wanted so desperately to grow in my front yard because I love that periwinkle blue. And so as I dug a hole for it, it was unfortunately where all of this Solomon seal was. And I'm like, oh no, but that's okay because I'm almost out of my Solomon seal tincture. And if you look at this closely, you can see it looks like joints. And if you open it, click it open, it's very white inside, just like bones. And each time you see a little indentation, that was where a shoot came up. So this is a year of growth and another year of growth and another year of growth. So you can tell how old this plant is by how many little knuckles it has. And those are the seals part, I guess, of the Solomon seal. But this actually helps your body create synovial fluid. It doesn't just mask a symptom by being like an anti-inflammatory or demulcent. It actually helps your body to create the synovial fluid. So this is powerful for bones and joints and muscles even. So I love that. And also you can eat it. It's a really delicious root. So there's so many things about Solomon seal. I should probably just do a whole class on it. So that was just kind of a little bit of, I'm probably missing it. Oh, I did get some burdock root too. I got so many things. Came home with such a mess, and now it looks a little bit orderly. I just wanted to encourage you all to get out there. The scriptures say, the eyes of all look to you to give us our food in due season. You give to us and we gather it up. You open your hand and we are satisfied. You send forth your spirit and we are created, and you renew the face of the earth. So all of that energy is, you want to get things at the peak of energy, but it's crazy to me, the gifts that are out there any time of year. And even in the winter, there'll be gifts that I'll be able to share with you that we can find. So just ask God for eyes to see the evidences of his love for you all around you. And use your time in nature to draw closer to the one who created it and created you and loves you. So thank you for joining me. I hope this was helpful to you.
Now get outside.
Now get outside.